Today we bring you action from the Scottish Schools Cup finals at Murrayfield. We hear from Jim Telfer on what it takes to be a Scotland coach. And of course we catch up with the big story of the month, the departure of Andy Robinson. Welcome to the Scotsman Rugby Show, and we start off with the big story of December, the departure of Andy Robinson after a demoralising finish to the autumn test series in Aberdeen. Before the final match against Tonga there was plenty of optimism in the Scottish camp. Against the All Blacks and Springboks there were moments to savour, with 3 tries against New Zealand and a good last half hour against South Africa. We'd never lost to Tonga or been beaten at Pittodrie Stadium in Aberdeen. A sellout crowd was there, and Scotland were expected to put in a winning performance and one which would set up the squad nicely for the Six Nations campaign. At least that was the script, but this would turn out to be the last time we'd see Andy Robinson walking into the stadium as Scotland's head coach.
That was a totally unacceptable performance we've witnessed today. From my side, I'm very angry about what I've seen, and I'd like to apologise to the supporters that have come and seen that today. There will be consequences because of this performance. I won't go through what those will be yet, but that was, from my side, just totally unacceptable. Penalty count was high, so it became a disjointed game. We got over the line twice with the maul. You've got to put the ball down, and you've got to be able to control the scoreboard in these games. Unfortunately, it became a fight and a mess. It is hugely frustrating to watch. It makes you angry to watch what we watched today, because we know what was coming, and it is unacceptable. This is rugby at the highest level, and you've got to be able to deal with the tackle contest, and you've got to be able to take the opportunities that you get. Otherwise, it becomes just a mess, the game, which is what happened.
As the captain, the coaches aren't out there on the pitch. It's up to the players, and so we have spoken already that we need to look inside ourselves, and we all need to look for answers, and that is something that we will do.
I've got a contract to 2015, but I'll be, from the performance that we've seen today, rightly so, there needs to be consequences for what happened, and I'll be at the forefront of those discussions.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Thank you.
Right now it's as bad as it's been, but it's always like that. Ask me in a week when the dust settled slightly, but I mean, it's still going to hurt a lot. We work incredibly hard to get the opportunity to play, and we let ourselves down there. We let the supporters down. We let the coaches down. We've had fantastic support over these 3 games, like as good as I've ever been involved in the autumn internationals, and that, I suppose, is one of the hardest things to take. That we've got an opportunity. We're on that park, and we didn't do it justice.
So Robinson is gone as Scotland's head coach, and we now look ahead to the 2015 Rugby World Cup. The draw has been made in London, and Scotland have been paired in a pool with South Africa and Samoa. We caught up with Jim Telfer to get his opinion on the draw.
In 3 years' time, you never know where Samoa will be. South Africa will still be very strong, but the 3 main teams are ourselves, Samoa and South Africa. So hopefully we'll improve, since, and in 3 years to come, we'll go up from about 12th up to about 7th or 8th or something like that, hopefully, or even above that. And and if the games are in Newcastle, you never know, that's probably the nearest they'll be, we could do quite well. We could get into the quarters at least.
And what about his thoughts on the Andy Robinson resignation?
It seems he had to go, but I was disappointed he went. I think he's been good for Scotland up to a point. The point being, he's a good coach. I think he's a very good coach, experienced, England, Lions, winner. So I think that it's a shame he couldn't get the best out of the team. And I think that the players have to look at themselves, a lot of them, and be honest with themselves and say they've let him down. So I was very disappointed that he had to go. But in professional rugby, professional sport, results are the most important thing. So he did the honourable thing and he went.
So who will replace him? Scott Johnson, Sean Lenine, Nick Mallett? Jim tells us why he's tipping the former South African coach.
He would put a hardness into the team, and at the moment that's one of the things they're lacking, a bit of hardness and a bit of tougher mental approach. And I think he coached South Africa and he went to about 17 or 18 games without defeat, and he mysteriously was dropped from that role, and he's moved around a bit. So I think of those three, I would go for him. Whether they'll go for Scott Johnson in the interim, I think they will actually. But if they were going for an interim one, I would go for Sean Lenine. And then if he made the grade, just keep him on because he knows the scene. I think he did a very good job with Glasgow. I've always thought that Glasgow were a harder team than Edinburgh. And I think he's a hard-nosed, New Zealander, even although he thinks he's a Scotsman now.
So what will it take to get Scotland back on track?
I think the most important thing is to get a group of players, a group of young players, really get the message across, what you want to do with them and stand by them, even if they have one or two defeats. And I think the Scottish public would accept that. We have a crop of what I would say above average international potential players at the moment. No world stars, I don't think, but I think they could be a lot better. And the job of a coach, in my opinion, is to make players better. And I'm not so sure if Andy has done that with the present crop of players. And so some players think they reach their pinnacle when they're chosen for Scotland. To me, that is just halfway there. Making them better and getting better and better is the job of the coach. So that's what we have to do.
Murrayfield played host to some very atmospheric Scottish Schools Cup finals recently. We'll see highlights from the under-16s game shortly. But first, let's catch up with the under-18s final between George Watson's and Merchiston Castle. We join it at 3-3, with penalties scored by Gavin Parker and Adam Hastings.
Merchiston inside their own 22, and then a mistake by Henry Slater. The referee playing the advantage because Slater knocked it on. And well, George Watson's could be in here for the pop pass from Hastings, and the ball's going to go in for the try. Yep, he's gone in. Surely he's got the touchdown. Merchiston just outside the 22-metre line now. Out to Ibbotson. Ibbotson then to Slater, who misses it. Oh, and it's a kick through now. And the chase is on. And I'll tell you what, it could be a try on here for Ben Robbins again. He's got the gas. This boy is like lightning. And he'll touch down. And from nothing again. And I'll tell you what, Henry Slater again. He missed the ball for Merchiston. And he will be absolutely gutted because from that mistake, it was George Watson's that kicked through. Ben Robbins there, just crashing over, just getting confirmation it was Ben Robbins, but I'll tell you what, they'll be disappointed, Merchiston, because they had the play and that mix-up, and well, Ben Robbins, he is like lightning. Hastings kicks to the left-hand corner, it's been chased all the way, oh, lovely kick, and a lovely touchdown in the left-hand corner, but the referee's saying it's knocked on. They're driving it through, they sniff something's on here, perhaps, Merchiston. They know they need to get a try. Ibbotson then takes the ball on, and that's good work and a great break as well. They could be in for a try. Well worked, and that is great stuff from Merchiston, and it's Ben Flett, the man, that goes in for the try. Strikes it well. Is it good? Is it over? It is! And Gavin Parker, his fourth penalty of the evening, and that penalty puts Merchiston in front. It's chilly November evening, but here comes the ball now. It's picked up. Is Hastings going to go in? Oh, he is! He's gone in! He's found the gap, and he's through! Unbelievable, it just opened up for him, and well, George Watson's go back in front. Merchiston 17, It's George Watson's 20. It's gone dead quiet. Hastings then with the kick. Oh, I'll tell you what, that looks good. Is it over? Oh, it is! Like father, like son, that's for sure. And the referee blows for full time, and it's victory for George Watson's. The final score, Murrayfield 17, George Watson's 22.
Just so pleased for the whole team. A lot of the guys were in the losing team last year, so we really were desperate. It's our last chance, to go the whole way, be the first Watsons team to win the Under-18 Cup. So we're absolutely delighted. We managed to pull through.
In the Rabo Direct Pro 12, Glasgow have suffered defeats to Munster and Leinster this month. But Edinburgh are back on track after beating the Ospreys and Connacht. Now they return to Heineken Cup action with a serious French flavour. Glasgow facing Castres and Edinburgh once again taking on Racing Metro over the next 2 weekends. Meanwhile in club rugby, Ayr have gone back to the top of the Premiership after beating Gala. Melrose won at Heriots and Aberdeen moved away from the relegation zone with a win over Curry. However, Dundee have pulled Stirling County into the basement battle with this win at Bridge Hall. And that leads us on to the Scottish Rugby legends. This week it's Derek Turnbull, the former Hawick flanker, who looks back on his Scotland career.
First cap was in 1987 in the World Cup against New Zealand All Blacks, and that was a baptism of fire. It was physical, it was unbelievably fast, and it was just a different ballgame I've never been involved in. It was a great learning experience. That was my first cap. Gordon Brown was my sort of childhood hero. I remember watching him on the television playing for Scotland, and I thought he was quite an outstanding player at the time. My favourite game was probably in 1988 playing for Scotland against France at Murrayfield, and we won the game that day and I was awarded a man of the match. It was the second internationalist and I thought that was probably the best I've ever played. Eric Champ, sort of French back row guy, he was a total athlete and he was hard as nails as well, and he was just a typical French player. But, he was a hard opponent to play against. He had everything, he had all the attributes the player. Again, he could run, he could pass, he could move. It wasn't just a case of running into you, you had to try and catch him. Favorite Scottish player, outside Hawick player, I'd probably go for Andy Irvine, but Jim Rennick a very close second.
Now we head back to Murrayfield for the highlights of our Under-16 Scottish Schools final between Strathallan and Merchiston Castle.
Merchiston just looking to get the first point on the board. They go down the blind side to no avail though, and they're going to pick and go again. It's all Merchiston, the referee. In fact, has awarded the try. That's very much a forwards effort, and they have been awarded it. And it's first blood to Merchiston in this Bruin Dolphin Under-16 final. Shoved out wide, taken on by Henderson. Nice wee grubber kick through, and this could be a try. Oh, great kick through, and that's going to be over the line. Great vision from the Strathallan skipper, who just put the grubber kick through. However, they're going to pull it back, and the referee in fact saying offside. So our hard lines there to Strathallan, but what vision from Josh Henderson. You can hear the boos from the crowd here, and quite rightly so, but the referee spotted the infringement before it. But I'll tell you what, Callum Nicholl thought he was in for a cracking try. Not to be. Remains Strathallan 0, Merchiston 5. But Merchiston still on the attack. He was through the back gate, the Strathallan player. Scrum half stopped and looked there, but here come Merchiston again. I think they've got the grounding this time. Quick ball, the pick and drive, and over they go for the try. And Merchiston double their lead in this Bruin Dolphin under-16 final. And again, it's the work of the forwards. Jamie Marin, the try scorer, he's been throwing in at the line out, and he's got himself thrown in over the try line to get the score. A quick tap and go. Josh Henderson kicks downfield again. Into the basket now of the full-back Jamie Gillan. Gillan feeds it out to Ogilvie. Ogilvie can't do much with it, and here comes a break now from Strathallan on the far side of the field. He ain't going to be caught, this lad, and he's away. It was a mix-up from Merchiston, and in goes Strathallan for a lifeline in this Bruin Dolphin under-16 final. It was a mix-up on the back line, and well, Strathallan the back, he just took it on, and he was gone down that far side. And for a second row, this lad can shift in behind the try line, and this will make the conversion a wee bit easier now for Strathallan, and a chance for them to get themselves right back in the hunt. Taken well by Middleton, the driver on now. Not in the captain, he knows it's all over. He kicks it into touch, and it's victory for Merchiston in this Bruin Dolphin under-16 Scottish School Cup final. Their try-heroes, Jamie Marin and Ben Kenderdine, but consolation for Strathallan. They hit back with a try from Alfonso Ramos, but it was too little, too late. Congratulations, Merchiston, the Bruin Dolphin under-16 champions. The final score, Strathallan 5, Merchiston 10.
And that's it for this week. Join us again in 2 weeks' time for the Scotsman Rugby Show.